I just simply want to preface this argument by saying that me and my opponent have maybe misunderstood the assignment, considering that he just did a video describing my side of the argument, which is supposed to be the negative stance on dating apps harm relationships, which in turn means that dating apps benefit relationships. So in order to adjust for this misunderstanding, I'm just going to be taking his side of the argument, which is dating apps harm relationships, and this is the affirmative stance agreeing with that statement. And this is just a short little video before the actual debate explaining what you are about to see. Thank you. Hello class, it's been such a nice experience having such a lovely audience. We've all seen the first day debaters, and now as we're moving into our second day, creating our own, watching some of the others, it's just been a real fun experience. And it's been fun debating with my opponent, Alexander, but today we're going to get really into why dating apps are harmful for relationships, which is the stance that I'm going to be taking today. And I'd like to preface this by saying that in my previous opponent's argument, he stated the definition of dating apps, but we failed to define what is harmful, and harm is defined as any damage, physical or mental, to receiving body, whether it be a person, or organization, or something like that. But I'd like to start off by saying that dating apps, while it is plausible that they do start relationships, the kinds that they start are very toxic. They're meaningless, meaning that they really take a mental toll on the people involved should they get too involved into this relationship. And the first grounds for that, my first real argument for that, is the anonymity associated with online dating. According to a Pew Research Center article titled Virtues and Downsides of Online Dating, which was published on February 6, 2020, online daters widely believe that dishonesty is a pervasive issue on this system, which being the online dating system. And a clear majority of these online daters, 71%, say it's common for people on the platforms to lie about their appearance to make them seem more attractive to whoever they are trying to attract. And this can lead to be pretty dangerous should these attractions, these false attractions created by the anonymity, it could turn into a scam, which is a common sight on many of these online dating places. And in some cases, the anonymity can also turn into a form of harassment, because seeing as the either side is not very familiar with what the other one looks like or is like, or knows very much about them at all, they could be sending them very explicit pictures which should not be in someone's inbox, in message inbox. And my second argument for today is that dating apps create a damaged sense of self-worth because of this entire idea of rejection and ghosting. People feel they are less worthy of relationships and tend to have less self-esteem, and they find themselves in more of a depressive state when they are using these dating apps. According to a Psychology Today article published on October 18th, 2018, indeed, dating apps could contribute to a culture of human disposability, with users becoming part of a throwaway society. And this can lead to superficial breadth rather than a meaningful depth of connections, meaning again that these connections are not being sustained. They're being started, and we're not letting them fully intermingle until they just get separated, which is definitely not something that you'd want to get out of an online dating app, especially when you are looking for love. And these dating apps can also make it seem like love becomes this game. It's on our phones, it's an app, and we feel like we are shopping for people rather than trying to establish connections. We are swiping left and right, but we are not making meaningful connections. And another downside of this swiping motion is that we are continued to believe that there are multiple connections we just haven't explored yet, and that idea of we start a new relationship and then we get rid of the old one means that we're never truly settling down and finding a new relationship, which is probably the cause for why only 12%, a shockingly low number, have actually found meaningful connection on the dating apps. And I'd like to move to my opponent's arguments, saying that dating apps create convenience. While they definitely create convenience within having them at you on you at all times in your phone, on your app, this convenience is bad because it, like my first argument stated, it detaches us and creates less meaningful connections instead of creating connections that we can possibly carry into our future and lead to happy relationships. And while this convenience certainly does exist, it's certainly not the kind that you'd want in order to establish a real connection. And my opponent's second argument said that these dating apps help introverts meet new people. While it certainly is true that these apps can help introverts find relationships within other people, these relationships, again, may not lead to meaningful connections, which can eventually harm the associated bodies, which would include introverts, and the levels of rejection could also lead to potential damage within the introverted, increasing like a sense of depression and feeling like their openness for other people should not have happened, and then it becomes this sense of like becoming more introverted because you've just been rejected and no one was taking you back, and that's another reason that they have this lesser self-worth when using dating apps. But for all the reasons that I have listed and why I have refuted against my opponent's arguments is why you should be voting for the negative stance, saying that dating apps harm relationships. Thank you very much.